Well, we've been very patient ever since the announcement. We've been really excited, and now the Indiana Jones Adventure Series figures are finally here. As you saw in the video I teased yesterday, these were sent to us in a promotional box from Hasbro, a very awesome promotional box resembling the crate the Ark of the Covenant was kept in. Very aptly themed, given that the first wave is focused on Raiders of the Lost Ark, and the build an artifact that is with the figures is the Ark. So we're going to get right into it and show you guys this first wave. We're very excited to check this out of all the characters, starting with our titular character right here, Indiana Jones. So if you look at the box here in our close-up, you can see the thing that captured on the box was the sort of the character and the background of the figure, and it's all different scenes from the film. On the side there, you got him jumping off the horse onto the truck and him getting that idol in the beginning. And then in the back, they're going to show you all the accessories that are coming with the character. He's got alternative hands, his whip uncurled and extended, of course his satchel, not a purse, and his pistol, and then the idol from the original film, as well as showing you what pieces of the artifact that it comes with. So this is all just included with the figure here. Let's crack right into them and check them out on the inside. But first, since this is an Indiana Jones themed review, I had to do something Indiana Jones themed. While I don't have his exact fedora, I do have a fedora, so I'll be wearing that for the duration of the review to keep on point here with Indiana Jones. So cracking into this guy. So very similar, it looks like, to how the new Black Series packaging is, this windowless box, plastic-free packaging. I kind of anticipate that on the inside, there's going to be a lot of the tissue paper wrap around in a cardboard fashion. Yeah, and there is a central cardboard piece here. So we have the central cardboard piece. There's a little piece of paper here that's probably just the warning label. And there's different sections you can see here. And they have the build an artifact and the instructions on how to assemble the artifact. So we have our figure here wrapped in what appears to be a map. So he traveled by map a lot in the original films. So that's kind of cool that they kept the packaging on point there with that. And then you have the sort of the accessory box here on the side. So we'll check out the little accessories in the package here. You get all those out. So we have his alternate hands, his whips. Everything is just sitting in here. Nothing is sealed, so it comes out pretty easy. So we have the whip, the unfurled whip here, and then we have the curled up whip. We'll see if we can mount that on him. Then he's got some fists, because he did a lot of punching there, and then he's got some weapon holding hands. And then, of course, we have the pieces of the Ark, the winged birds that sit on the side. I believe they might be falcons or something. So these are included as well. And then that idol, and I'll give you a close-up here of all the accessories, and then of course his pistol that he carries with him as well. So the figure, again, this is going to slip out nice and easy, and we got our guy here. He looks amazing. So we'll give you a close-up here. You can see they got some, the paint applications include a wearing of the leather jacket, which is a nice touch. Tight paint applications on the face there, great likeness of Harrison Ford. And the hat is a little flexible, a little rubbery, so it's not rigid. So it would be, the hat is a wool fedora, so it would have a little bit of give to it. The satchel is already mounted on him, so this, although it shows in the picture, it looks like you can kind of remove it. The arms of the jacket are part of the arm here, so you can't take, or the sleeves rather, so you can't take the jacket off and have a look underneath. There are other Indies coming out that include the jacketless Indy. So you don't really need to worry about that if you're looking for that look for later on in the film. And then you can see his pants sort of cuffed at the bottom there around the shoes. So that's a nice touch to include that there as well. So a couple things I noticed on Indy here. We have a holster with a clasp on it. So it looks like a functional holster for his gun. I want to say blaster because I'm used to Star Wars figures, but we have a functional holster here. So he could pull out his pistol. Get this off to the side a little bit. Yep. So you could seal that and put that in there. I'm not going to do that right now. And then over here on the belt, we have a little loop here with a pin. So I'm assuming you could put the whip on, the curled up whip here, and then have that as a mounted on look. So yeah. So let me give you a look of what this looks like together up close. So you can see the whip there mounted on his waist, and the pistol in his little satchel there. So you could have a sort of neater looking Indy, or if you want, you could have Indy with his whip unfurled there, and doing a little whipping action. So a lot of options with Indy. Let's check out the articulation on this guy. So probably I'm expecting similar articulation to what we see in Black Series figures, which is going to be that flexible elbow, shoulder joint on a ball, and flexible multiple ways here. Same on both sides. Wrists articulation, double articulation because they bend in addition to turn. He's got head on the ball joint. His waist appears to be on a ball joint. Now he doesn't bend at the abs or anything, so it's just one piece there. So the thighs turn, and you have that knee articulation as well, double knee there. And then you have ankle articulation as well, and that appears to be in a ball joint. So, and then you also have that hip articulation out and in as well. So a lot of range of motion on the character. So they similar to like what we see in the Black Series or the Marvel Legends line. So that's great that they sort of captured that and brought that over here. I'm going to do a quick hand test because I always love testing hands to see how these things move from series to series. So these are going to have, there's no pegs in the hand. The pegs are mounted onto the arm permanently, which is good because you want some resistance when you're pulling a hand off. I always like to give a little twist. So here we go. We mounted thumbs up, Indy, showing how this worked out pretty well. So that was a good hand test. I didn't see any issues there. So this hand has more of a trigger for the gun. This hand has more of a grip for the whip. So, and this is more of a gesture. So you get a lot of options here with the hands, but that's pretty cool. That is our Indiana Jones, our title character from Raiders of the Lost Ark. So why don't we crack in and do his pal Sala next. Not as dimensionally complex as the Indiana Jones character. He's going to have some less accessories here, but checking out Sala's box, I'm going to call this Map Room Sala. So this is the Sala that we saw handing Indy the rope, passing him into the map room. So you just see a call out here. Now there were different versions of Sala in the movie. We'll probably see other Salas in the future, but this is the one that essentially, well, he never did go into the map room. This is the one we saw at that scene and then subsequently helping Indy get the Ark. So cracking into Sala's box here, I think he's going to have far less accessories as you can see on the picture of the box. So a little bit more simplistic. Still keeps that same design of the other packaging with the Build an Ark, and still has that same wrapping of the travel by map. Sala contains a significantly larger piece of the Ark, probably owing to that he's having less accessories, so that sort of makes up for it. So we see Sala here. And Sala looks great. We'll give you a close-up here, but you can see that great likeness in the face. Very sullen look on Sala here with that dangling headscarf wrapped dangling over his shoulder here. Now he's got that vest on top that is sort of a separate piece, and it looks like you could take this off if you wanted to. The rest of his clothing is all mounted onto his body there. But then he's got his cloth leggings there, all the way down, and underneath he does have his pants on underneath as well. So there's a lot of layering going on in this figure. I kind of appreciate that. It looks a little, sand blown, dirty. They added that painting there, give you some weathering applications as well onto Sala. So that's pretty awesome. Looking at Sala, he's got the same exact articulation as Indy, so I'm not going to go over that again, but all the same points of articulation here. And looking at the legs, they're kind of built the same way as well. So nothing different there. But nice detailing on his shoes all the way up to his laces, so nothing was missed there. Sala just comes with two accessories. So he has his shovel here for digging, because he's the best digger in Cairo. And then you have his rope that he was using in the map room scene to help Indy down. Although on the way out he wasn't using the rope, he was using some flags he found. So he does come with this rope accessory. So this is Sala basically right there, and he comes with, it looks like the top of the Ark, I want to say, and I see little slots here for these birds, so we'll just add them and we'll do this as we go. So let's see how well these fit in. Very well there. I know build the figures vary from figure to figure, things don't tend to line up, so this is lining up pretty well right now. So we have the top lid of our Ark already, so we're moving along. We have a nice little display there, and it's got a nice little gold hue to it, even though it's plastic. So that's nice. It's not gold leaf, but it's pretty nice in its color and looking sharp so far. I did not plan this out. It just happened to be the top two pieces. Maybe I'll plan it out going forward so it makes a little bit more sense, but these two worked out well, two in a row. But that is our Sala. Why don't we continue on now, and we'll see. I think maybe we'll go with Marion next. That would make sense for continuing our build. So there are likely going to be several Marions. I know in the vintage series or retro series for Indy, we got Marion in the white dress, which we see her in a couple pivotal scenes in the film. And then, of course, she changes. I mean, there's a lot of costume changes for Marion, so we're probably going to see a bunch of them. We'll probably see a different one of her in Nepal as well. But let's check out this one first. So this is Marion, and this is, I want to say, Cairo Market. She's there with the monkey from Eye Patch Man. I don't know his name. But he's featured there. That monkey is featured, and there's an Indiana Jones Cairo as well that also comes with this monkey. So I see multiple versions of this monkey. But on the box, you could see her there with the monkey, and then on the side, facing off against that one assassin there, or hired goon, with a frying pan. And that's basically the entirety of her accessories, is the monkey and the frying pan. She didn't use anything else, so makes sense. Maybe they could have thrown a basket in there. That would have been fun to just include that for that scene where she got thrown into the basket. But that's really it in terms of accessories. They nailed it. She only had two. So getting into this. So this comes with a couple pieces of the arc. We'll get into that in just a second. And then we have our monkey. And I'll give you a close-up of the monkey because he is tiny. So you can see him here. He does have some joints. He's got a ball jointed head. His arms move. They're articulated. And his legs are not. They are molded onto him, but his tail is articulated, so you can curl that tail around. So that's cool to add a little articulation. I didn't expect that in the monkey. And then the frying pan is a frying pan. So that's all. There's not much more to the frying pan. But we could see, here's our Marion Ravenwood here. We'll check her out up close. Great detailing on that shirt. Really nice paint applications. You could even see that little string they put on there for the tie at the top. Nice likeness of Karen Allen there. And they did a nice job on the hair as well. I mean, everything on here really captures the look of Marion, all the way down to the clogs she's wearing. So they were careful on the footwear as well. And they got some feet in there. Maybe not the best on the toes. It's kind of hard to do toes in this scale. They don't look the best there, but other than that, I think everything else about this figure is great. It's interesting how they work the articulation in on the leg. You can see that little light skin tone peg in the back. So they kept the skin tone where their skin tone would have been, and then they have the straps around that, so that they kind of made that functional part of it, part of the skin tone as well, so they kept that consistent. So fun little feature there. So she has a bit of a, like, puffy arms. I mean, it was a puffy shirt, so they have a little bit of extended sort of ridge around them there. So that's an interesting addition to it. And then she has the same articulation we see in the other characters as well, except her legs are a little bigger too because of the puffiness in the pants. So they're a little bit more bulk there. So we'll try seeing how she stands fine. I didn't need to do anything there. Basically she has these two hands. They both look like they could hold that frying pan. So if you wanted to do a two-handed frying pan, I guess you could do that. She could do a two-handed frying pan. So that works perfectly. And then the monkey, that basically just could pose on her any way you wanted with a tail. So I think the tail kind of helps you wrap it around her shoulder. So if she wanted a monkey on the shoulder, she could do that. Or if you wanted a monkey on the head, you could do that. So it's just going to take a little balancing. But that's it. I mean, Marion has all the hallmarks of Cairo Marion. So we have our Cairo Marion right here. So I'll throw her over there and the monkey hanging on for dear life with that tail. So then we have a couple of art pieces here. And this looks like a front panel. It doesn't specify which side this is on. But you got that some water and some light rain down there. So that's interesting little detail. So we'll see how this fits in. I think it's supposed to go in between here, but it doesn't look like it wants to. So maybe these pegs come out or not. Okay. Well, I will figure that out over time. Maybe this separates? I'm not sure. We're going to figure that out in a minute and then put this back with the, here we go. So this separates actually, I missed that. So this came with Sala. There's the bottom inside of the top. So by itself, it makes a nice little, I guess, plate display piece, but you're supposed to take it apart, and these are two different parts here. So then this would, in theory, go up here, and be the top panel, and then this would over here be the side panel. So then we have two parts and they would interlock into each other. So we are starting to get that arc assembled piece by piece, and it's starting to come together. So now we have 3/4 of an arc and a bottom. So that is that there. So let's crack into the bad guys. We'll start with Major Tot. So Major Tot is actually a really fun one that I'm excited about, and it's because of that melty face that they showed us that he's going to be featuring here. So again, looking at his packaging as well, he wasn't in a whole lot of scenes. You had him in the Nepal scene, you had him in the interrogation scene, the tent, and you had him at the end of the film. So I think most of what's here is just a aloof Major Tot shot, and on the side they have that scene from the end of the film where he's happy before his face melted. But that's all that is really shown out. Not a lot of action for Major Tot. So he was just a bad guy, a device in the storytelling here. So we'll check out what he includes. So we have his little accessory pack here, tucked away on the side. Oop. So we get a bunch of parts here. There we go. So we have the arc pieces. We're going to put those off to the side for now. All right, so he includes his gun, his little Luger pistol here, and I'll give you a close-up of all these. A hat, of course, the very, very important melty face with these great glasses. They even did little plastic glasses on there. So this is a great job on this melty face. So I'm going to have to give you guys a close-up of this. This is really amazing. Love it. I've actually seen a candle like this where you light it and the face melts. So that was great. And then a little surprise accessory. They have his ungloved head with the with the headpiece of the Staff of Ra burnt into it. So just after the Nepal scene, when we saw him in the tent in Tanis, he has that hand. So that's great that they included that. Not a lot of costume change for Major Tot, so including the extra hand kind of completes the look. So this is great. So he has his overcoat, and then he has his undercoat look. So if you wanted to give him that look here, where he's carrying the coat, you could put it on. So you have both the Nepal version and then the Egypt version. So everything's captured. So let's get a close-up here. So really nice job on that coat. I like how it looks there with the draped over look. And then you have a lot of detail underneath of him here with his gloves on. And you can see his little dress shoes and the suit and looking sharp with that tie. Everything is on there, a little depth to it. Of course, he's bald, so they kind of captured that as well. But they did a great job on the glasses, getting that little plastic in there. You can still see his eyes behind them, so they're not like too dark anyway. And these are molded onto the head, so you're going to have to replace the head to get the melty face look as well. But that's really it for Tot. He has the same articulation as all the other characters. There's no inconsistencies there. We'll do a quick check on the hand. I want to make sure you can easily do this, and I think it's going to be the same as Indy. So we have his burnt hand here that he could show. Yep, looks great. So they pull that off, and we'll do the head check too, so we can see melty face Tot. That one pops. This one I think was not supposed to take the ball out with it, so this one, that one had a little problem there. I think I might have to get a pair of pliers or something and then show you guys that later. But these ball joints are supposed to stay in because the head is supposed to rest on that. But basically it would look like this once we get the melty face on there, which is really great. But I'm going to give that a B- on the head because that should not be popping off like that. So I'll have to do a little fixing on that one. But other than that, everything else seems to be working with the character. These happen sometimes with these. They just don't have enough pull. That should probably have been glued in, so that way that end wouldn't have came out, but the head could still maneuver on the top piece. But these things happen on figures. I've seen it happen a lot, particularly on necklines. But this first time I had this happen on a Hasbro. So the gun fits perfectly in the hand and the hat right there on the head, so you get the full look. The only accessory they didn't include with him, I wish they would have, was that weird nunchuck hanger that he had that Marion thought was a torture device. It's pretty cool. That would have been fun. That's the only other accessory Major Toad had, and we could have made that a little functional hanger for his jacket. That would have been perfect. That would have been the full tot if we included that as well. So here we go. We have our tot, and he's standing fine. Last two pieces of the arc, well, the arc sidewalls. So they look exactly like the other one. They're just gonna fit in like this. Here we go. And everything snaps together, and I probably should put that piece on last. Everything snaps together really efficiently, and you can feel it nice and firm. There's no give on there. Here we go. Sort of orienting these so that the clouds and the rays are on the top and the water is at the bottom. And I think that's the only thing you have to make sure you're doing. And then everything should fit together just perfectly. So now I have all four sidewalls put in there. I have the base, and I think you just kind of slip that on like this. And it's got kind of like a sand look in there. I guess you could throw some sand in if you wanted to complete the look. And then we have the lid that sits on top. And it's loose enough that you could take it off if you want to recreate the arc scene. But all we're missing are the poles, and that will be with our ceremonial Bellock, or Bellock, as Sala called him. So why don't we get over to our final character. All right, well, we got Bellock over here, looking at his box. And this is ceremonial Bellock from the final scene. Of course, there's another Bellock being offered as a 2-pack with Brody, who's the I want to call him the Arc Confrontation Bellock, the Bellock we see through most of the film in his suit. But you can see the details here of him in the final ceremony at the end. They didn't make him Exploding Head Bellock like they did in the Threat Level Midnight series from Super 7 with the hostage in there. But I don't know, maybe you could take his head off. We'll see. We could capture the magic of that scene. But again, similar to how all the other characters are packaged. So the only accessory he's going to have is his staff, his ram's head staff here, and then he's going to have the pieces for the arc, so we'll assemble that. So the staff actually is really nice. I'll give you a close-up of this. It's got this nice kind of ivory look on the grip here on the shaft, and then that ram head at the top with a nice kind of gold decor on it. So then we have our Bellock, and I was kind of impressed seeing Bellock at Celebration. I'll give you guys a close-up here. You can see him with his turban on, and what's really great is how they capture the detail on his ceremonial necklace here. Each individual piece colored, different color, tight paint applications, all the way around on his garb here. They have that pattern, but it's kind of like a wrinkled look to it, and it's got other detailing on it. I mean, it's quite great how they captured all this on this figure at this scale, all the way down to he's still wearing his sensible shoes underneath, but they really captured everything there. And the base figure underneath has the same articulation as the other figures. The only thing I noticed that I didn't mention was Tote actually has another point of articulation here. His like necktie area moves, so just a little bit more than the other characters. I don't think anyone else has that articulation. So we'll just put Tote here. He doesn't seem to want to stand for some reason. Big fedora energy on this side between Tote and Indy. But that's essentially Bellock. He's going to have the same articulation here as the other characters. Underneath he has his pants on, just his khakis, with the same articulation on the legs. It's going to be harder to bend him with his ceremonial robes on. But this piece here, although it's attached at the shoulders, kind of has it's layered on, so it's not molded on. Same with the belt here. So that's nice that they did that. Same with the tassels in the back of the turban. So it gives the character a little depth, I think. And then we have his ceremonial staff that you can put in his hand here as well. A little tricky when they're new hands to maneuver these things in. There we go. So we have him here with his ceremonial staff. Let's see if we get him standing on his own. He's got a little bit of a tweak in his feet there. Yep, there we go. If you wanted to do Exploding Head, oh, there we go. Exploding Head Bellock from the final scene. So that's great. So it's an option as well to, if you wanted to do it, the head pops off. This head came off easier than Toad's. I don't know why. All the other heads probably would. So we have our final part here, and it looks like what you do with these is this goes in the middle segment, and these each kind of stick in the ends. So I'll just do one at a time to sort of stick it in. There we go. one side and then the other. I think they just kind of grabbed random poles when they were taking this thing out. I don't necessarily think that these came with them. I was watching a movie the other day. This was part of it, but then I think they just slid 2 poles in to help take it out of the crypt and then move it forward. So this is one side, and then you got to kind of position it in the middle to get the pole to slide in just right. And then that is our arc. Almost. There we go. That is our arc. Complete here. Bellock doing his ceremony. We have the handles on it, and you can take these out. So they're not poles that are slid in. They're just kind of stuck in the ends of the arc. So a little extra feature there. But you could have a scene with Sala and then Indy taking it out. Indy at the time, it was a slightly different outfit. I think he might have either had he wasn't map room Indy at that point, but he was I think he had the jacket off in that scene. So slightly different Indy, but you could use the same Sala for that set. So kind of cool that we captured that full arc look in the Build an Artifact for the first wave. It looks great. I mean, they really capture the whole look of the arc. So that's fun that you get to take the titular piece of the story as part of it. And of course, in the second wave with the Temple of Doom wave, we have the Shankar stones and the Thuggy skull display. So that's kind of cool that they took that. Have no idea what they're going to do for the Last Crusade. I'm thinking maybe the Grail room, where they'll just have a whole bunch of grails and plates and stuff, and you got to choose wisely. So we'll see if that's where they go with that. But they kind of did a build out more for the Shankara stones, because the stones themselves wouldn't be great build an artifact. So there's a little bit more dimension there. But this has been the first wave of the Indiana Jones Adventure series. Very excited about this. But one more thing before we go. You know, from watching other videos on this channel, I always like to compare current models to previous models. So I got a little surprise for Indiana Jones I want to show you guys. So as Hasbro told us, they never did Indiana Jones in the 6-inch scale before. There was just the retro collection, what we have now, mimicking the old vintage 3 3/4 figures. But Hasbro never did it, Kenner never did it, but Disney did. So there was a figure from 2007, there were a couple of them actually, that were kind of done in the, I think more of a 7-inch scale. So we'll compare Indy here, I have him holding the idol. So a little bit smaller than this, so I think this is more in the 7-inch scale. So this Indy, you can see vastly different here, a little bit taller. Still kind of similar with the satchel on there and the jacket layered on. Now, the holster wasn't functional. He didn't come with with a curled up whip. He still had his gun. He also came with an idol. I don't have the idol for this one. He came with a sword and I think one other accessory. So a couple of accessories as well. Didn't have alternate hands. His hat does come off as opposed to this Indy it's mounted on. So the paint applications are much better on the modern Indy because you get that weathering on a leather jacket. That's kind of annoying. The hat keeps coming off, so it's probably better that they didn't include a hat that was removable. But you couldn't interact those same scenes like he lost the hat in the opening sequence. So we'll see if they do that on the special Temple Escape Indy. But what I did love is he came with these great set pieces, the figures that came. So you got a little temple rubble here and some bamboo thicket. So it's a great little display base for an Indy figure, keeping him in his adventure mode and sort of his discovery temple kind of mode. So that was great. I hope Hasbro kind of captures that and brings us some set pieces to go along with these characters. We have Map Room Indy coming up. It would be great if we got a Map Room play set piece so he could put the staff in there, etc. But these are kind of great to have, just these little bases come with maybe a deluxe figure or something, just to build out the world a little bit. Or if we get a giant boulder, that'd be fun too. But that's basically, I just wanted to show you guys what the two kind of looked like. You could see them here really quick back to back. The height differences, the coloring differences, everything about them is different. They obviously didn't have the paint technology, the facial likeness back then. Much better on this modern version. But you know, these exist out there. There's a couple of them. I believe there's also one for Temple of Doom, so you could go look on eBay or something. They run around $40-50, maybe more for a complete set, or much more for one in package. But these were fun. I think these were in theme parks and elsewhere. kind of a fun little way to get your Indy fandom on back then. Wow, it's been oh geez, almost 30 no, almost 20 years. It's not 30, almost 20 years since this figure came out. So that's great that we finally got Indy back in our lives in this great little 6-inch line. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I was really excited to take a look at these finally, now that they're finally here. I think they're done really well. We're going to be showing you guys more Indy this month. We'll call it Indy Month. We're going to have the retro line. We're going to have the Worlds of Adventure. We're going to show you the world playing. So keep tuning back for more Indy videos. I'll have one each week to celebrate Indy Month, mixed in with other things. Tuesday, we might be doing Turtle Tuesday for a while. So we have a lot of cool franchises we'll be showing you guys this month, but it will be Indy Month. So keep tuning back. Thanks again to Hasbro for sending us this amazing promotional box. These should be in stores very soon, if not now. I saw some of them popping up at Target, but Target gets stuff some early sometimes, and they put it right on the shelf and it goes away, so before the street date. So you could start seeing these pop up soon, if not in the next month or two, probably before June. But get excited for the new movie coming out as well. So that's all for this time. As always, like, subscribe, and follow, and I'll see you guys next time.